Hey guys, running just a few minutes late. I apologize. Welcome to Two Lines on a Tuesday. I was actually making a little bit of coffee. Hang on. Mute that. Making a little bit of coffee and was having some problems with my espresso machine, which caused me to be a few minutes late. So, what's up, guys? What's happening this Tuesday? Let's see what's going on in the chat. Holy cow, there's a bunch of traffic already. DeFingers, welcome. Jeff G. What's going on? Steve Sweeney. Welcome. Steve, how's your coffee this week? It's pretty good. It's really good. Steve bought 2 slot cars today. Hey, Gene, welcome. Hey, Ragtop. You ate DD 3 minutes early. Let's see. Thanks. Although I probably don't deserve it because I was a little late. Hey, Mark. Welcome. Hey, Wild Man. Good to have you guys. De Leon. John Albright. Fine choice. The F-22. This must be really early chatter. Chris. I'm pulling an empty today. Nope, I'm here. I just needed some coffee. I've got a project ahead of me after the live stream, so I'm gonna need some energy. I'm meeting a couple other guys here locally to work on the sound system at the football field for graduation this weekend. Had some problems and like 3 blown speakers. So got some work to do. So, but welcome, Chris. Thanks, Ragtop. John Bacon is in the house. Who else do we have? Hey, Eric. Thanks, man. I appreciate hit the like button. Cliff, more cowbell. Always need more cowbell. So, yeah, I don't know. Hey, Richard. I found out your town has a good Sam's campground bean. I have 2 basset hounds and a chihuahua. I don't have many options when traveling. I may get to. Yeah, Richard, if you find your way to Chillicothe, the Sam's campground is at, I'm not sure which one that is. We have a few campgrounds here locally. We have a couple of state parks right here in our backyard. Scioto Trails and Great Seal. Great Seal is actually like minutes from my house. I can be hiking in about 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Beautiful state park, but you might be talking about Walnut Creek, which is just a few miles outside of town. I'm real familiar with that campground, so I don't know. Yeah, Richard, if you ever find your way, I know John Albright said that he might do some traveling sometime and with his camper. And so, yeah, if you guys ever find yourself close, I'll host a little race and get on the track and we can run some laps. So, John, you were marked safe from buying slot cars today. Yeah, I'll award that badge to you. I'm not sure that I can award myself that badge. Chris had 2 Fridays ago, 89 degrees, couple from flat. Much scar tissue. Oh, must be catching up on a surgery. All right. I'm going to skip ahead. Greg, welcome. Let's see. I just don't want to miss anybody. I appreciate everybody jumping on. Garage of Slot Cars. Good to have you, Jeremy. Thanks for joining. Wild Man, thanks for being here. Greg, Chris, Richard, who else? Paoli Slots. Welcome. Glad to have you. Stephen Sprague. Good to be here, guys. Yeah, Steve, I saw that that SRC has the 919. I have the Toyota, and it is a fantastic car. Hey, Shotgun Dave. Welcome. Let's see. Who else? So, yeah, I saw that was on. Hey, Cliff. Hey, Cyberg. Glad you guys are here. Thanks for hanging out. Slot Car Dojo. What's up? Grandson of man. Grandson of man and I have been planning and scheming. We may try to get together and race in June. I was supposed to go to Florida and meet up with my kids down there and visit some family, but instead they're coming to Chillicothe to hang out. They just decided they didn't want to spend the money and just want to come home and visit mom and dad. So that's great. But the following week, so I'm not going to Florida, but the following week I'm going to Las Vegas. And grandson of man and I slot car city, I think, is the slot car track in Vegas. And we're going to see if our schedules might meet up and go run some laps. So I'm looking forward to that. Who else? What else? Hey, Kirby, welcome. Let's see. Gary Dunmore, did I buy another car? Gary, I pre-ordered a car, and yeah, I really want the Thunder Slot, one of those, the new McLarens. Those look pretty sweet. Hey, Eric, yes, coffee. Got some iced coffee to get me through the live stream tonight. But yeah, going back to that, Gary, yeah, I'm working on a couple of cars. The Fat Turbo, I gotta order it. I need to reach out to Bruce and see if he has it. People keep posting pictures of that. Man, it looks so good. And I love my Hexcel. I actually have a replacement chassis that I need to work on and get that put together this week. So my projects this week, I've been working on tuning this thing. This is a GB track, which I believe is a fly car. It very much looks and feels like a fly car. It does have a straight axle, and the swap shop livery is great. Looks good. I like it. It's nice and bright. Daryl, my friend Daryl, hooked me up with this as a tuning project, and it is a project for sure. So I spent some time with it last night. I think tonight I'm going to move some weight around and see if I can get it running a little better. And the mesh isn't perfect, so I need to kind of run it in a little bit. So unlike the Lancia, however you pronounce it, it's a GB track as well. The Beta Monte Carlo. With this one has had a little bit of tuning, and it's getting around the track pretty good. Really happy with that. So I just like those cars. They're a lot of fun. They look good, so that's why I've got them sitting next to me, mainly because I'm working on them. Hey, John Tucci, welcome. Let's see. Oh, Jim, you didn't get. Yeah, you told me you didn't get to run your Jim car that he put together for you. Maybe soon. DK Moon. Yeah, I love the Hexcel. It's over in the box. It's fantastic. I kind of like the green, the two different colors of green. It's a great looking livery. There's just so many great cars being released. And the description I talked about that is like what one of the things I want to talk about tonight is what is the next big thing, right? So in slot cars. Hey, Greg, welcome. Good to have you. If I missed you, I apologize. Hey, Charlie, thanks for being here. All the poor casinos, you travel 3/4 of the way across the country and you end up in a slot car place. No, Richard, you're right. Vegas is lost on me. It's cheap conference space, and I work for a community bank. So that's my real job is I'm a marketing person. Surprise, right? So I am I'm the VP of marketing for Kingston National Bank, and our processor is Fiserv, and so you see me wear Fiserv stuff every once in a while, because I go to these events. But they have the big forum out there, and so I'll be out there for 3 days for that. And there's a lot of cool things that they have for us to do, and it's really a great time to just meet up with the processor and see what future products are coming. And it's a great event, but I'm hoping that I get some free time where I can skip out and go get a few laps in some slot cars. So anyway, hey Jim, welcome. Good to have you. Hey Billy, Amanda, be like some collectors and just buy the catalog slot car dojo. Yeah. Hey Asher, Phil, good to see you, man. Gerardo, it's not the mesh, I believe it's a broken pinion if it's plastic. Hey Sean Casey. Gerardo, it might be, although by inspecting the gear, it doesn't seem to be a problem with the pinion or with the spur gear. I don't think it's cracked, because it got better. I ran it in a little bit and used some grease that has some graphite in it, and it seemed to really quiet it down and really help it just move a lot better. Yeah, Chris, you're right. Some flies are better than others. I don't have a ton of experience with fly cars, but it's a fun challenge, and I think that ultimately, I talk about this a lot on my channel. I'm really enjoying learning to tune cars and what you need to do to try to get them to run better and perform better. So that's my goal. So, like when I ran, like my GT40, I didn't really have to do much to that. It just was fast. I ended up adding some weight just so I could keep the nose down a little bit better. But man, it was just hooked up and screaming around the track, and I didn't really have to do much to it. A little bit of body float, a little bit of pod float. Outside of that, it was off to the races. So I didn't feel like I learned a whole lot from that. It's just, it's an NSR. Should be pretty easy to tune. It's most of the way there right out of the box. Greg, my daughter does the same for a local bank in Massachusetts. That's cool. Yeah. It's funny, my story there, I started there out of high school, and I was a teller, and then I went into the accounting department, then I was a lender for a number of years, and then I kind of gravitated. That's when they were adding IT functions to the banks. We'll tell my age a little bit, but so I ended up being the IT department for this bank, and we're 6 branches, so we're not huge. We're a little over 500 million. And I left, and I went and worked for a telecommunications company for almost 20 years. And I was having coffee one day with the bank president, and he's like, hey, you ever thought about coming back to work for us? Full disclosure, my wife works there, and she's been there about 30 years. That's where we met. That's kind of the reason why I left originally, just because working together every day, all day long, and then coming home, and it was just, it was the right thing to do. But about 6 years ago, I went back and took over their internet banking and started doing all of their marketing and launched social media and all kinds of things. So it's been a fun ride. I really enjoy being back there. Lots of great people. Hey, 3 Bean Raceway. Nice to have you. And let's see. Did I miss anybody? Lego Mike. Hey, glad to have you. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. We won't be long tonight. I've got a couple other things to do before I go to bed tonight. So it's kind of a busy, crazy week. So yeah, no worries. Hey, Light Tech. Go when in Vegas, go to the. Finish that statement. So Slot Car City is where I'm going to try to meet up with Grandson of Man. Super excited about that. Anytime I get a chance to meet up with some of the guys that hang out here on YouTube. The Lamborghini shop at the Palazzo and the Shelby Museum. Yeah, the Shelby Museum is on my list. I wasn't aware of the Lamborghini shop, so I'll check that out. So hey, John, thanks for tuning in. So let's get into it. Real quick. Just one thing before we get too deep in is, guys, don't forget about my channel sponsor, Rost Coffee. I'm having the Brazil espresso tonight. I still don't have a coffee cup. They don't have them right now. I have a water bottle. But, don't forget that you can go out there. And where is that? Yeah, let's kick that up. If you go to roastcoffee.com, use two lines, all one word, TWOLINES. You get 25% off your first purchase of coffee beans or anything off the site. And then you can also get 20% off of a lifetime coffee subscription. So if you find one of those blends that you like, or the single origin Brazil, which is my favorite, you can, jump on a subscription and save big. And that's actually a great deal for coffee. Coffee is definitely taking a jump in price. So Trent lets me know that when you guys order, he appreciates it and just loves being a part of this channel. And I need to get him on here one night, and we can do an interview and talk a little bit of coffee, because there's enough guys. So, but don't forget, put coffee in the chat, so that I know those guys that are interested in possibly winning some beans, and I'll give some away tonight. So yes, 3 Bean is on it. The Shelby Museum, it looks like that's a place I got to go. So there's a Shelby Museum in Colorado. I think it's in Boulder, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's one of the Shelby museums. And every time I'm out visiting my kids, I think I got to go see that. So that might be on there. Hey, George, welcome. Is climate control a must for Carrera Track? Charlie, great question. Not mandatory, mainly because you have stainless rails. But you still can get some problems. So there's some maintenance, but I think it will handle moisture, like a cooler environment. Like I'm in my basement. It's a cool environment, but it's a dry basement. I'm very fortunate. I live in an old house, but the basement is really dry, and I don't have moisture issues or problems. I know there's a green tint to my walls. At one point, I think this was probably a duplex at one time through the 30s and 40s, 50s. It was a split family residence, and somebody was living in the basement, just like somebody was living in the attic, which the temperature range in the attic is crazy. So the basement would have been as comfortable down here all year round. But they'd painted that green from like the 50s, that real light, pale green. They painted all of the stonework. And then one wall over here is painted white. But it happened years and years ago, so it's starting to, it's kind of chipped off, and so that's why it looks green. It's really not mold or anything. I've had a few people ask me that. But that's where the green comes from. You can see it, wrong corner. You can really see it on that end. So that whole end was painted that awful, awful green. So anyway, thanks for supporting coffee. The sponsorship gives you guys free beans. That's what I love about Trent and Chris. Freder, your beans did ship back in April. Trent went back and looked, but they are sending you some Brazil. So I think it went out yesterday. Trent and I had a long conversation about what may have happened. So I don't know if there was a typo on the address or what, but maybe one of your neighbors is enjoying Rost Coffee, but you've got some coming too. So thanks, man. Just so you know, Brotato Schmidt Fishing. Hey, Marty, it's been a while. Yep, it has been a while, Brotato. Hopefully we get down to Cincy and race soon. I miss Thursday nights down there, so The LeMay Museum in Tacoma, Washington is good also. That's cool. The account used to do public access show back in the 90s. Yeah. Beep. Yeah, I gotcha. I'm tracking. Steve. Yeah, it's the Brazil is really smooth. That's what I love about it. Be careful if you go to the Shelby Museum. You may come home with a real car. I don't think there's any worry about that. So, slot cars. There have been so many announcements over the last couple months about cars coming out this year. And, we've all talked about the Shadow. The Shadow's here. We're past it. Now what's the next big thing? Like, what cars are you guys excited about? What cars do you plan to pre-order? Because there's quite a few cars out there to pre-order. Some people are shipping them, which is kind of weird. I don't know how all these people got the Thunderslot McLaren, but I'm not sure. But do you have a redemption code to get 50% off McLarens at LEB? No, I don't. I wish I did, because if I did, I'd order two. I'd order the blue one and the yellow one, because they are good-looking cars, man. And then we talk about Thunderslot all the time. I love those cars. Super fast, smooth. They handle great, easy to tune. A very tunable car, and I love them. Classic asbestos green. Yes, Billy. Yeah, maybe it is really asbestos, but I don't think so. But definitely is that color green. Coffee isn't just a breakfast anymore. Yes, arrived with my subscription this morning. Thank you. Oh, that's cool. Great. Gene's asking Garage of Slot Car, how about now in the new room? So I missed it. Figures neighbors scored the coffee. They might have. And if they did, I hope they enjoy it. I hope they were coffee drinkers and they become a fan of Roast and buy coffee. So the McLarens, a lot of people already have them. I'm getting at least one of them, whatever one I can get. LEB has them for pre-order right now, so I'm hoping to get the blue one. I really want the Fat Turbo, the 962, mainly because I love the other 962. It's a very smooth car. Hey, Hobbit, glad to have you, man. Glad you're here. Jeff says the C8. So I'm guessing the C8 is probably a 2024 car, but it's going to be, I feel like NSR is a little late to the game because Scalextrics and Carrera both already released the C8, right? And they kind of stole that thunder, but man, we all know how well an NSR car runs. They will sell a lot of that car. It's a kind of a no-brainer to do a C8. George sent me his C7 NSR. I think it was an NSR months ago for me to test, and it was the first time I drove a no-mag car. So it was last summer, and I had it for a month or so, a couple months maybe, and I really struggled with that car, man. But it is what helped me get to run no mags. Billy, the track cleaning truck, you've said that before. Yeah, definitely. That will be probably Carrera's most popular car this year because it's very useful if it really is a track cleaning car or truck and cleans the track. So, yeah. But, yeah, Jeff, I agree. That will be a big car. Steve, I saw my own shadow. Yep. Everybody saw their own shadow. Well, everybody but Slot R, Dave. So I think even Travis got one. I have 2 inbound of the McLarens. George, that's cool. Both the yellow and the blue one, if we're talking about the same car. Not yellow, papaya orange. Sean, thank you. It is a shade of orange. Just depends on how people take pictures with on the. But I believe you've posted some pictures, Sean. Those are good cars. I really like the blue, but if you're telling me that the orange is really orange, I like orange cars. So that's good news. Yeah, Jeremy, I agree that the Carrera. I haven't had my sights on a Carrera car in a while. I've kind of been in the slotted NSR Thunder slot mode, and some other and fly. I've kind of gotten into some of those just because they're a challenge to tune. I really like sideways as well. But the track cleaning car, Carrera does have a handful of cars that I really think would be great. How many of you have the new Ken Miles slotted GT40? I've seen a lot of pictures online. I have not ordered that yet. John Mark can't buy cars right now. So John Mark, does that mean you did not order the Ken Miles GT40, the slotted? I can't in 1/32 scale. You've got it in Carrera right here in 1/24 scale, and you've got a GT40. I don't know, man. It'd be hard not to. Yep, available pre-order. Yeah, George. That's where I've got. I'm in good shape right there. I'm looking forward to some new LMPs. Maybe the C8. Yeah, Hobbit. The C8 is going to be a big car from NSR. We just know that, and they'll do a great job with the body. It'll be very detailed and look great. I think that. Yeah, Wildman. Raul did design a Shadow T-shirt. You might as well jump on while it's hot, right? Looking forward to the slot at Chaparral. Yeah, there was an interesting post. I don't know if you guys saw that. I think it was Home Racing World. Some guy did not like. I apologize if some guy. I don't remember who posted it. Someone posted. If they're in the chat, please jump in and let us know that he was not too excited about the Chaparral. He felt like it was an overrated slot car. And then throughout the question, what are other slot cars that you think are overrated, or which had a ton of comments when I glanced at it right before it went live. It was like, I don't know, 70 some comments or something. But it was really interesting to see what people like and don't like. I love that kind of conversation. That's why I'm asking this. I am super excited about the 3 917s at NSR, the hippie liveries and the pink pig livery on the 917. I am super excited about that, and I do not know how I'm not going to buy all 3 of those. I need to sell some stuff, like maybe my plasma, to start saving up, because those are all 3 great. They're in at LEB now. As of today, they were still pre-order. So that's cool that they made that change. They must have come in today. John, you got the shipping notice. I should probably go check my email. That's awesome. Yeah, well, man, the 962 Fat Turbo is a great looking car, great livery, and my Hexcel car performs great. It's super smooth, easy to drive. I really like it until I broke the chassis. But I've got a chassis to replace it. I just haven't been able to put it back together. So I no doubt that the Fat Turbo car is not a good performer for a Group C class. Although like that Jaguar is such a fast car in the Group C. I think the 962 is almost there, just shy of that. But you got to get that Jaguar tuned up. So yeah, they must have just changed it, because Sean, when I looked this morning, it was still pre-order, and that was just before lunch, or that was right at lunch, because that's when I jumped on. So that was about noon Eastern. They had not changed over. So awesome. That car will probably sell out quick. So the CB is a 2024 release, or the C8. Sorry, couldn't read that. Yeah, John. 2024. It's cool that they showed the body off. So at least it's that far in the prototype. They had it on the track, but it didn't look. I don't know that it was actually running on the track. So, but I'm sure that it will, like NES and SR, a little bit of tuning, and it will be fast. I still think it's hard to beat the Mosler. That NSR Mosler, everywhere we go, people are flying around the tracks with those. It's that wheelbase and the width. The track is wide of that car, and it's just a great performer. So that'll be a car that, NSR just keeps moving and doing new liveries every year. Revo Blue and Orange Opel Cadet. Yeah, Curvy, that is a great looking. That's my favorite color combination on the Opel. The orange and blue, it's pretty sweet. So yeah, that's one I'm after. So George, yeah, the new Alpha, yeah, there's some great liveries coming out for that. I'm hoping that this fall we have a Group 2 class, a Revo slot Group 2 class, because they're not there with the other Revo slots, and so to run them in the Revo slot class and is probably not fair. But if you ran them in your own class, I think they'd just be fun to race against each other. They just look like a ball. Slot R Dave, he's got a bunch of those cars, and Harry Wise has done some videos on them too. So those are cool. I have the Carrera tow truck. You can drop the tow bar, push in a guide, and attach a Swiffer all behind the hitch. Works great. That's cool, Steve. Didn't know that. All the track cleaning trucks I had coming in are already sold. Trying to order more. I'm not surprised. Hey, Resser X, I would love the track cleaning truck in 143rd. Yeah, that's so Racer X, are you mostly 143rd scale? You're racing on your track. So 3Bean, you have the GT40, the slotted, the Ken Miles. George did an awesome video yesterday about the GT40, the slotted, and it was flying around his track. I have a GT40. I have the white number 19, the black and orange. And it was my first car that was non-Carrera. And it has taken a beating. It's when I've done all my testing on, I've made it a digital car. It's beat all to heck. But man, it's a fast car. It runs great. Jim Carson, you got the GT40 as well. Just bought yours today, De Leon. Nice. Yeah, they're sharp. Ken's in the house. Yeah, Shotgun Dave. It is an awesome car. Of course, you got to love a car that has a great story. I think that's why the Shadow has been so popular. It's because it has a great story. Won 4 out of 5 races in '74. That takes a pretty good car to do that, right? Especially in the Can-Am series, that series really, it taught auto racing a lot about downforce, right? And they played around with lots of wings, and they really were pushing the envelope for downforce then. And so that class of cars was really important for, what we know now. So I think a car with a great story, good stuff. Chris, yes, a number 1, Ken Miles ordered 2, 1 to run and 1 to display. Chris, no shelf queens. I'm just joking. No, that's awesome. Glad you did that, because then you won't have to worry. You'll have one. Richard, my wife says no new cars till September. My apologies, Richard. There'll be lots of cars coming out before Christmas. Don't you worry. The Thunder slots are showing in stock. Yep, Dojo. Yep, I just checked the website, and they've just switched from pre-order to you can order them straight up. So awesome. Yeah, the Chaparral. It's not a car that I love, but it's got a great story and a great history. That wing clear up on top, just like it's going to mess with the center of gravity on those cars. I'm sure you can make it perform well. Let's see what else. Forget overrated. If you don't like it, don't spend the money. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, if it's, Harry says that all the time in his reviews. Is like, if it's not your kind of car, don't buy it, and that's cool. But that's why they make all kinds of different ones, because everybody likes something different. Let's see, Richard. There's Social Security cards and trucks. Yep, Chaparral's cool. Yes, was just putting in the cart. Nice. Forget overrated. Okay. I've been wanting the GT40. May order tonight. I have enough to tune that I don't need anything else. Yeah, DK Moon, I'm the same way. I actually, all of my cars at this point are tuned except for this, and I'm in the midst of tuning this thing. So I do not have anything. I take that back. I've got a 124 scale. You can't see it behind the logo. It's a Carrera Digital 124 car. I have tires for it, but I don't really need it until next year on the track. But I that's one I don't have tuned. John Mark has a couple of cars here I need to tune. One is the Castrol livery of the sideways Skyline. It looks awesome. So I need to get on that. I got to order some things for it. So get them while they're hot. Yeah, George, I think you're right. They'll go quick. You have the hippie from years ago. It's very cool. Hobbit, yeah. I think those NSR though, I think those will be super popular. I think they'll sell out pretty quick. I know the Pink Pig will sell out fast. I just know it. That's a popular livery that they don't do a lot. I mean, it wasn't on a ton of cars, right? So yeah, let's see. What else? What do we have? Steve, you have 2 kidneys. That's funny. 2E started life as a commercial track racer. Hey, Hobbit, thanks for joining in. Appreciate you. Let's see. Their order, George, and knowing LAB probably will be here tomorrow. Dang, that's awesome. Yeah, Lynn, they are awesome about getting stuff out fast. They do not mess around at LAB. I give them props. I'm sure Billy and Amanda are the same way for our Canadian friends. I like the NSR the best. They 3, my favorite GT40s, the 917K and the P68. So, yeah, there's a lot of guys that run the P68 in our vintage class at Cincy Slots. It's a fast car. Some 917s, some GT40s. They're all in that class. But I will say the Thunder Slots are right there with them, maybe even a little faster. And then a couple guys won with the Matra, the slotted Matra. I'm interested in the complete cost to get an Omnibox up and running. It appears that there are some other costly items to purchase. Yeah, Greg, you've got to have the Omni slot box. You have to have controllers if you don't already have, like analog controllers. Then you'll need they accept the XLR ins, so you'll need that as well. I'm sure there's some other things. Jim's in the chat, so he can probably answer those questions. To agree, the story is what makes some of these cars so cool. Yeah, man, I dig the history of cars. That makes a car cool. It could be even an ugly car. The Shadow is kind of a weird looking car, but I remember just the story of it, and that's why I love it, and that's why it's so popular. People like the story. Patrick Harper, 143rd has Carrera F1 cars, but why not for 132nd? Has anyone chipped an ME? Yeah, De Leon, I love K&M too. If you could choose only one, Revo Porsche GT2 or NSR Porsche 997 GT3. Ooh. So I don't have a lot of GT cars. Um, I have the Porsche GT. Is it a GT2? The Revo slot? I have that. The 997 is it's pretty awesome. Yeah. So I have, what do I have? Yeah, I have the Revo GT2, the 911. Great car. Fantastic car. I love that livery. It's in a couple of other liveries that I would own as well. They're awesome. But this one's got some marks on it. It's been on its top a few times. But yeah, that's so yeah, that would be my choice probably. Since I already have a Revo Porsche, I would probably go with the NSR Porsche 997 because I don't have one of those. Yeah, that's cool. But it's hard to choose, man. There's so many great cars. It's hard to choose. Yeah, I don't know. Anyone chipped an NSR F1, Patrick? I have not. I do not have. I have a couple Hornby F1 cars, and I don't know how you get a chip in one of those. It's pretty small, so I can only imagine that if the scale is the same with the NSR, it would be pretty tight. But maybe the slot technique would work. Maybe it's worth a shot. Let's see. I have the 124 Pink Pig. Yeah, Greg, I think we've all figured out. Like, my brother bought the little thing you push around, the Contour. It does a great job of cleaning the track. You just throw a ghost car out there, 20 minutes, lane changes, as long as you don't go in too far. John, I would have to agree. I watched a video today on my lunch hour of somebody driving Laguna Seca in the shadow, and it looks like it was this year. So I don't know if it was this past weekend. Somebody brought a shadow out just to run as kind of like a promo or something, but they had an onboard camera, and the shadow going through the corkscrew was awesome. Shadow story is overhyped. Can-Am changed the rules, and Porsche, who were dominating left, leaving the shadow to win. Yeah, Sean. Well, I mean, Porsche had dominated, so they made some rule changes. It's still a car that changed a lot of things about downforce. But yeah, that's fair. But you can't deny the excitement that slot car had this year, right? So, let's see. Devil Dog. I'm too busy trying to buy all the track I need to worry about cars. Yeah, I'm really struggling about a track. I am super happy with the layout that I have, but I would like to have a 4-lane track, an analog track. And I'm trying to decide whether I want to build a polycar track and lower this so that I can elevate it and have 2 tracks here on top of each other, or put an analog out in my garage. And after I raced on the wood track a couple weeks ago, I've kind of been obsessed with researching wood tracks. And there's a guy here in the community that has one in his garage that my uncle knows, and I reached out to him, but it doesn't sound like he's interested. Plus, it's so big, I don't know where I would put it. But I don't think he's interested in selling it. But it would be fun. But if I did something like that, I would have to find a place and open up a club. Yeah, nothing is perfect. Bruce, welcome, Bruce. Good to have you. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but George has probably got it handled. Let's see. You love the Chaparral. Yeah, it's cool. I just think that man, it's such a great time to be in slot cars. We have so many choices. I'm just rolling through through LEB, and it's just there's so much to choose from, so much new coming out. I mean, the fact that the community's big enough to support a couple of slot car news channels, and there's enough news to report, not just on Fridays anymore, but throughout the week. Like when in slot car history has there been that much news? I don't know. I haven't been in it long enough. Some of you guys that have been in it for years could, maybe it's just because we have social media now, we have YouTube and things like that we didn't have before. Hey, Danny, welcome. Hey, All Scale, great to have you. Yeah, yeah, I know. All Scale, you usually tune in. Hopefully, you tune in after they've posted the live chat because it would be hard to watch this without context. Which is why I try to put as many comments up on the screen as possible to try to help with that. So, because those first 6 or 8 hours with no live chat, this would be very confusing to listen to. Joe Trinks, I wish Carrera would bring out more 917Ks. Amen, brother. It's my first slot car, the Carrera 917, and it's a digital car, and it's been trashed. It's missing all of its motor parts. It's still my favorite slot car on the digital side. It's still my favorite digital slot car. I love it. I wish there were more liveries out there readily available. But when they make one, they sell out. So it's, I don't know why they don't release more. My next 2024 will be the Ford GT that LEB has. That's cool. I was looking at Danny, that's fine. Mine auto corrects. It already knows the fingers 1. It even puts the number 1 in there. So Greg, I've been looking at the BRM. Hopefully in July, the 917 returns in a Gulf livery, which would be awesome to have. The Ferrari that's out there right now. But I really like their Group C cars. I mean, this car is awesome. I love it. And I mean, the Group C cars are like $119, so that's not too bad. Yeah, John, I agree. There's no bad running NSR car. They are race cars, period. Let's see. The fingers is laughing at, probably at Danny's comment. Yeah, if you run magnets, I agree. Let's see. What else? I'm trying to remember what LEB hobbies. I had it up. LEB. There we go. So if you go to new arrivals, the NSR arrivals. Oh, that's new arrivals. I'm talking about pre-orders. So Sideways has a new car. Racer Sideways has the BMW in the Total livery. That's a good-looking car. That was the 2018 Spa winner. That's a great car. But then if you go to slot it, you've got the Hexel, you got the Ken Miles GT40, you have the Alfa Romeo, you have the Jaguar, you have the Skyline, you have the Porsche Fat Turbo, you have a Toyota 86C. That's a great looking car. And then they're releasing a 962 white kit in May. Actually, was supposed to be released. It is released. Those are not all pre-order now. Those are all marked as buy it now. So like, there's just so much. Anybody interested in the new Scale Auto cars? I collect as much for who drove the car for the livery and model. Oh, yeah, Chris, I could see that. If you have like that old Apple computer Porsche, that Bobby Rahal is local to me. And so if you grew up in Ohio near Columbus, that's where his shop is and was growing up. So we were all Bobby Rahal fans. So yeah, anything that he drove that's got his name on it, I would be interested in. Hey, Harry, welcome. Glad to have you. Harry got a delivery, posted. He got the Fat Turbo 962. I can't wait to see that tuning video, but maybe you already have a 962 tuning video out there. But the Group C stuff I really like. It's a great looking car. Yeah, I think so too, Vancouver. There's some fictional stuff with their liveries, but that's okay. I don't mind that. And again, you can put anything in a golf livery. I'm not going to get upset that maybe it didn't race with a golf livery. So, yeah. Electric football, yes. Electric football, where it vibrated the table and they moved around. That was my first thought. I run some groups with magnets. Isn't a good one for that. I missed the IMSA race at Laguna Seca. I could have went. Yeah, Jim. I watched the replay of that on Peacock on Sunday night. Pretty interesting race. There was not a lot of lead changes. It was good. It was just nothing too exciting. Not like the last IMSA race. Greg, I'm interested in Omnibox. I wonder if Area 51 has a video on Omnibox. Yeah, George has kind of an intro video to Omnibox. And then Jim has videos out there as well. Greg, there are less expensive DIY options for analog on any digital track if you're not afraid of a little wiring work. Yeah, Greg, I agree. There are some schematics. If you can read schematics and know how to solder and not afraid of that, you can definitely make your own, like the tech slot box, using some chips to chip the lanes. And there's other ways as well. It was electric rockets earlier when my 32 Ford launched off the table. The 997 is a great car. Jeff G. Yeah, I think so too. The Revos are nice model from top to bottom. Harry, I agree. I love this Revo. I have two. I have the 333 SP in the red livery, and I have this 911 GT2. Great cars. I will own a few more Revos. Definitely cool. Richard Whitney, I got the Ken Miles GT40 from LEB. I liked it so much I was considering getting a second to save for the shelf. I had forgotten that I had also pre-ordered one from Slot Car Corner. That's a happy mistake, right? That's good stuff. Reese, welcome. John Bacon helped me with the pronunciation of your name. I apologize. I've been saying it wrong all this time, but I appreciate you nonetheless. Thanks for joining tonight. Or I guess this morning where you're at, I believe. I'm hoping that BRM will do the VW Mark II. Yeah, Chris, that would be really cool. Yeah, because they did the Volkswagen in 124 scale. It would be awesome to see it in 132nd scale. The Revo and the NSR 997s drive completely different. That's not a bad thing though. That's cool, John. And that comes down to just the way the chassis performs, right? The NSR chassis versus the aluminum chassis. I'm just curious to know if there are any other manufacturers since the Riva slots have become pretty popular, if there are if lost my train of thought. Somebody texted me about the road rally that's coming up in a couple weekends here in Chillicothe, which will be sad because Ken Block will not be here. But I wonder if any other companies are considering going to an aluminum chassis. I'm curious to know if that's just going to be a Revo slot thing, or will other hobbyist brand cars move towards that. I'm guessing from a cost standpoint, but that's probably not the best. But I think Travis fitted chip in the Formula One. That's good to know. Let's see. I hope they stay dialed into producing historically accurate or liveries going forward. Yeah, I would love to see them get back to doing some of the older cars too. It's like people say that they just don't do enough 917s. There's so many liveries out there for that 917 that we've not seen yet. So as a dealer, I'm sick of Carrera not printing 132nd Formula Ones. I bet, because you could sell them. The NSR versions of 997 will run away and hide from the Revos. Yeah, my Revos are just not as fast as the rest of my cars. It's not that they don't perform well. I love driving them, but they run 8.7s on my track, and my NSRs are all in the 8.1, 7.9 to 8.1, 8.2 range, well tuned, and the track temperature nice and warm. Even the pink one, mail hauler. Okay, great. You have one power supply. Let's see. What have I missed? Trying to stay ahead. Hey, thanks, Harry. Good to see you here, too. We appreciate it. Question. Did you get your DeFalco 303? Have you figured it out? I hear stop playing with your buttons a lot. Yeah, I don't. I'm not good at figuring out my controller yet. So I'll get there one day. I'll get it dialed in. We used Polycar at Miami F1 race. Great cars, held up to hundreds of crashes. They come with an analog and digital chassis. Oh, that's cool. That Polycar does that. That's nice. Greg, I'm afraid, very afraid. Greg is afraid to do some soldering. It's okay. Yeah, we'll see, Harry. Thanks. Billy, I wish Carrera did make F1s in both scales. Gary, you want 124 scale Formula One? Yeah. Raymond. Welcome, Raymond. Glad to have you in the chat. You'll find this is a great place to ask questions. I kind of ramble on, but the chat actually is very productive, unlike myself. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoy what happens here at Two Lines on Tuesdays. Hey, Mad P, welcome. Let's see, good bit of 917 models at Electric Dreams. Yeah, DK Moon. They kind of hoard those and hold them back, and then charge an arm and a leg for them when you decide. Like for somebody new in the hobby, when I was like, oh, I love 917s, and then I went out trying to find them, and like even fly 917s are going for $70 or more. I'm like, if I'm going to spend $70 on a car, gosh, I'm buying an NSR, or I'm buying a slotted. I'm spending $65 on a slotted. So that makes it difficult. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Question, Curvy Road. Please explain the slot car groups, Group C, etc. Curvy, that comes from just the class, what they were called when they were on the track. So Group C. Let me look up here. Group C racing. Group C was a category of sports car introduced by the FIA in '82, and it raced until '93. Um, yeah, and Group A was for touring cars, and Group B was for GTs. So yeah, you've got Group C. So those are all cars that are like this: the 962s, the Porsches, what else? You had the Sabre, you had um, the 956s, Porsches. Trying to think what else was in there, but I think they were also called GTP, maybe. So that's Group C. Group 5 cars are cars that let's see, Group 5, which Sideways makes a lot of Group 5 cars. Carrera makes a lot of Group 5 cars, which makes it a good class. Group 5 was from 1966 to 82, so it was a long-running racing class. And then you had Can-Am, which was about that same time, which stands for Can American, right? And there's still Can-Am Off-Road. So, and then Group 2 cars are sort of those European cars like the BMWs, the Alfa Romeos, so these are all groups that FIA put together, and so they established for touring and GT cars, 1954. So Group 2 was replaced by Group A in 1982. So, yeah, if you go to Wikipedia, there's all kinds of information on the different groups. Hopefully that answers, Kirby, some of your questions. And so it's just an easy way to, most of the time, the chassis are similar. So when you race, Group C cars together in a class, they're all very competitive because most of the time the chassis are very similar. They have similar wheelbases, but a little different. So depending on the track, the 962s might be faster, or the Jaguars are faster, or maybe if it's a longer track, the Toyotas do really well. There's a lot of information out there, but let's see. What else do we have? Just got a Carrera set and got some accessories, but the pit lane adapter, not sure why it's not working. Okay, Raymond. So the pit lane is probably not working because you probably need to update the firmware on your CU. And how you do that is by downloading the Carrera app. But there have been some guys complaining about updating to the latest version of the firmware and it breaking some of the aftermarket digital chips. So just be careful with that. But that's probably why your pit lane is not working, because the CU that you have doesn't have the firmware to support a pit lane, probably doesn't have the firmware to support the check lanes and some of the other accessories. So that's what's probably going on right there. If you have any other questions about that, there's a lot of information online about it, but you can send me a message if you go to my profile, and my email address is out there. So, but yeah, that's more than likely what you're running into, because the Bluetooth adapter and then like the wireless adapter, depending on what year your CU was made, what version of the firmware that it has on it, some of that stuff doesn't work. So, yep, that's what you got. That's what you got to do. Let's see. The 997s are that good. Thanks. Yeah, they are. I've heard good things. About to pop the mag out of the Ken Miles #1 Le Mans. Grandson of man going magless, or no magnets. Okay, try turning your pit sensor around, Raymond. That is a possibility. You've got to look for the little LED. It needs to be at the entrance, not the exit. So that's for the fueling. So that could be it too. Thanks, Billy. Good catch. The John Player Special Lancia is a diamond in the rough. Yeah, George, you got yours running really good. Any car that the Jaeger livery looks good. Yeah, Chris, I could tell you've got a little bit of a liking for the Jägermeister. Let's see, what else do we have? You won't be disappointed. Make sure that the fuel track place has the sensor on the correct side. Yep, good call, Jeremy. Good call. Yeah, it could be all that. That Cat NSX. Yeah, John, I I like the NSX too. See what I'm saying? Like my list of cars that I would really like to have just keeps growing because these companies just keep putting out great new products. Marty, did you change the guide in that? I have not changed the guide in this. I've not really started tuning this one. This one came from Daryl, and he wanted me to run some laps on my track with it. So it's not really mine, but man, it flies. I am super impressed with it. But yeah, I might do some tuning to it, see if I can get it to hang in the guide a little better. So I'll try that, Greg. I probably have slot invasion that will work. Hey Don, welcome. Thanks for leaving a comment. Thanks for joining in the chat. We appreciate it. No, Greg, color sucks. That's funny. It seems to work when connected to the CU. Okay, cool. Yeah, the Sunoco colors look good. Scale Auto 124, but no 132nd, Jeff. Yeah, I've not had any experience with Scale Auto. I really like their track. I like the looks of it. I've done some research. A little pricey. That's why I was hoping I could connect with Polycar, and I saw that Pete just did a test of a Polycar track, but I'm interested in their 4-lane. I would love to get my hands on a 4-lane starter set of Polycar. I bought the Jägermeister 956C today. I'm a sucker for orange. Yeah, orange cars are sweet. I would love a Porsche with a Bromus racing team livery. Beatnik, that's cool. Yeah, that's a good looking livery. Sunoco and Golfs are must haves. Yeah, Charlie. We're kind of suckers for the Golf livery. Are there any videos showing the wiring needed to make a switch for digital to analog? Mark, I've watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I would have to go back through my history. It's been over a year ago where somebody was talking about wiring their track up for analog. So maybe that'll be my goal this week, is to try to track those down and maybe post those links. Orange is the greatest color of them all. Let's see what else. What else? Okay, your firmware is 399. I think that's the latest. Yeah, there's a lot of forum posts. Greg, I think I've watched one or two videos of somebody that was going through their wiring that they did. But again, it's been a long time ago. I'll have to find it. It does work though. Yeah. I mean, honestly, when you break it down and think about it, it's not super complicated. You just have to have things wired up the right way. And you have to understand how analog works versus digital, but it would be cheaper to do a machined aluminum chassis than make a mold. See, that's what I was thinking, Curvy. That if you had a plasma cutter and, like CNC stuff, how they do that with the plasma cutters, it would be easy to cut parts out. So to me, that would seem like it could be cheaper route. And I think they just perform really well. I mean, the Revo slots are quality. Hey, Tom, welcome. Glad to have you. How's the weather in Florida? Are you warm yet? Supposed to go down there in a couple weeks, and it's not going to happen. So, right on, Marty. Let's see. We're in Florida. Yeah, Greg. I knew Greg was in Clearwater because we were going to be in Paso Grill, Greg, which is just up the strip from you. We used to go to Madeira. My family had a condo there, and so about once a year we would go to Madeira Beach. But yep, Tom, welcome. High Springs, north of Gainesville. Yeah, Greg, but the chipping the lanes work. Like I'm not having any problems with the tech slot box. It does a great job. You just have to understand that you can't really run hot motors and things like that. You just kind of know what you're getting into. Let's see what else. Richard Whitney, track design software. There's a lot of track design software out there. Depends on what kind of track that you're wanting to design. Ultimate Racer, I believe, has track designing for a lot of all of the track systems. I don't use that software, but I've read a lot about it. Because I really like to find something to design some polycar track, so I can kind of get an idea of how big of a layout and what kind of track pieces I need. And then I use for Carrera, there's a German site, Softibahn planner, and it's I think it's what is the okay, let me get the link. And it's a free online planner for Carrera, softyroyal.de. I'll put it and it is free and it's great. So, hey, Dave Kennedy, welcome. Glad you're here. The schematics is easy to read. My plan is doing it one day. Yeah, Racer X, I think that would be a good project. So, did I miss anything? Hey, Vin. Hobby needs a third generation Mazda RX-7. I think that would be a really popular. That would be a very popular car. Yeah, Greg, the John Player liveries, they're always popular too. People like those. Yeah, nice track scale auto, really not that expensive. Their straights are 15 plus inches. So do the math when you're talking footage. Oh, Jeff, that's good to know. I had not dug deep enough to know and done the conversion for the math for the size. I just know that it looks good, and it looks very similar to Polycar. I feel like it's the similar geometry. So, but I would really like to get into to test some Polycar. I think it would be good because I'd really like to do a 4 or 6 lane track. But I'm really considering a wood track now that I've done some wood racing. And I got invited this weekend to go back to Butch's and jump on a 2-person team for a night endurance race. So I'm still trying to figure out if I can fit that into my schedule. I've got quite a busy week ahead of me. So what else do we have? So yeah, I mean, we just got so many choices, guys. So many companies are announcing all these great cars. We got the C8 coming eventually in 2024 from NSR. That's super exciting. But man, there's still a lot of great cars to be launched this year, and it's just a long list of wants. Short list of needs, but a long list of wants because there's just so many great cars. Again, it is a great time to be in the hobby. It really is. In my opinion, Tom, need more room. Slot Car News sold me on the Ken Miles GT40. Yeah, it's a great car. Marty, can you explain ohm ratings on controllers? Ooh, I cannot. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm trying to figure that out myself, but I think that it has to, I mean, the ohm rating is a resistance, right? So depending on what type of motors you're running, you would probably have to pay attention to what kind of controllers you can run those cars. But I don't know the specifics. Like there's 35 ohm, 45 ohm, even the lower stuff. I would say that has to do with HO cars versus 132nd versus 124, and what type of motors you're running on the track. That's why there's not a lot of choices when you go to Carrera, because they're controlling all of that from an analog standpoint. I would say, 132nd scale is 35 to 45 ohm. Somebody correct me. I don't know what I'm talking about when you can ask John Albright. I've asked him a million questions about controllers. We've had long discussions about controllers. So there are guys way smarter than me that know about controllers. The thing is with controllers is, how much money do you want to spend? I mean, you can let's see. I'm not sure what Greg's talking about. Me not coming to Florida. Yeah, sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. If that's what what you're referring to. Isn't there a new Scale Auto to Carrera track adapter on the market? Oh, good question. I don't know that I've seen that. I haven't invested that much time researching that. We race on a 3-lane wood track. Best move we made. Vin, yeah, I've looked at a couple of 3-lane, 4-lane. I think you can have a decent size layout with 3-lane from a track length standpoint and still fit in a decent space. So yeah. Okay. I got 2 Carrera 124 Ken Miles GT40s. They run pretty good. Yeah, we've got one here. We've never run it. It's a Shelf Queen. It's not mine. It's John Mark's. But if I get the 132nd scale GT40, the Ken Miles version, it will find its way to the track. Can't help it. No Shelf Queens. Not in Marty's garage. If I were buying DK Moon, if I were buying track today, I would try Scale Auto. I have Scaly because my local shop carried that. Yeah, I have Carrera because that's what I was able to get. It was available to me. The lower the ohms, the more on-off abrupt it feels. The higher the ohms, the more smooth on-off feels. Dave, that's a fantastic way to simplify that, and that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, Steve, was $180. So at 5 ohms might feel light turning off and on a light switch. At 45 ohms, it might feel more comfortable with the car gradually. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a great way to explain it. The resistance is futile. I went to click on that and it the chat moved. The resistance is futile. Ohm. 35 ohm is a good baseline for 132nd scale. The lower the ohms, the quicker the controller responds. Yeah, and I think the older that you get, the more ohms might help. Help with the response time. Hey, Raul. Welcome, man. Yeah, no worries, dude. Hey, life's busy. I don't expect people to make every night. Get it, Greg. You will like it. But when you need more of the GT40s, they look so small next to other GT40s. Yeah, I was surprised how small the GT40 looked when it came, the first one I bought. Let's see. Marty, Tom Work. What do you think is the best Carrera set coming out or around now? I think they're all the same, Tom. And what I mean by that is Billy and I have had this conversation a bunch of times. I've heard Dave Kennedy say this as well. Buy the set that has the cars that you like. Or buy the set because you want the wireless controllers. Track is relatively inexpensive, so don't get hung up if one is a 9-foot layout versus a 10-foot layout, or whatever, 9 meters. I guess that's what they usually come in. Like, so one's 8.6 and one's 9.2. Don't get hung up about getting one with a bigger track. Pick the one that has the cars that you like, because you'll get 2 cars in it. There's one set that has 3 cars. If those are the cars you like, then you're ahead of the game. You've got 2 cars that you already love to drive. And I think that's part of this hobby, and what makes it fun is that you get to drive cars that you love, that you might not be able to afford in real life. And so that's why I have a lot of Ferraris and Porsches, because I'll never be able to own those cars, right? So that's why we race them. So that's what I'd recommend, Tom. Make sure it has the features that you want, whether it's analog or digital. But I'd really pick it based on the cars. If you like the cars that come with it, then it's the right set for you. You can always add straights. You can always buy expansion. You can always add turns. That's the beauty of plastic track. One of my next videos that I'm working on is plastic track versus a wooden track, the pros and cons of both. I'm kind of working through those notes right now, just in my own mind, like what my pros and cons are comparatively. I don't own a wood track, but I got to race on one a couple weeks ago. May race on it again this weekend. And I've been trying to maybe design 1 or 2 layouts that I like. So the beauty of plastic track is you can change it around. You're not really locked into anything. So take advantage of that. Buy the set that has the cars that you want. I think the new Retro Carrera set is the best one, but it's still pre-order. Yeah, Charlie, I think that is a cool set. Again, because the cars, right? The 20 ohm controller, on the other hand, is almost an on and off switch. Yeah. Yes, Scale Auto has the Carrera adapter, so you can run those big Scale Auto radius turns. That's cool. Wow. So maybe that's what I should think about, is combining my tracks, so then I'm not wasting anything and I just have one layout instead of multiple layouts. We're getting into F1 cars. Purchased nothing yet. Any suggestions? The Polycar vintage F1s are really cool, and a lot of guys on this channel like them and have got them tuned. George and Harry both have tuned a bunch of those up, and they fly around the track. John Albright as well. So those are all really good. The NSR F1s are fast and great cars just because they're NSR. But my brother has a couple Carrera F1 cars, and they're fast. They run great. So yeah, you have lots of choices. My dogs are going crazy upstairs. Just picked up 3 Ferraris and a Porsche today. Raul, you did so good over the weekend, and then you did it again today. Congratulations. That's awesome, man. Let's see. I agree with Dave. A 45 ohm controller will be a softer start at the low end of the trigger pull. You can get controllers where the ohms are adjustable. Yeah. Greg, no shelf queens. It happens, Raul. That's right, DeFingers. It does. It happens. F1 has small inside space for digital chips. Need F1 in digital or analog? Yeah, D. Moon, that's a good question. Carrera makes an F1 digital chip. So the F1 cars for Carrera are pretty easy to chip because Carrera makes one specific for them. Yeah, before Raul will be at the 500 before we know it. Hey, Cliff. Yeah, Cliff, I got your email. I'll start playing around with your space. So I'll probably start with the space first and design, and then see what kind of track you have compared to what I ended up designing. I noticed that you didn't have a 415, so no R4 turns. and I think that might be an investment. You'll want to maybe pick up a pack of those. In you could probably make just about anything you want on that table. So, but I'll work on it. But yes, I did see your email. What else? I understand. It's okay. It's okay, Roll. I know you had to. 63 minutes. Or 83 minutes, Garth. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Is that too long? I talked too much. That's what Garth is telling me, that I'm talking too much. All right. Let's see, Slot Car News. The Slot Tech chip, if you can solder small stuff. Yeah, I agree, Dave. The Slot Technic chip is a great, and you can fit it in a lot of things. And the fact that the diode is not attached to the board, it's on leads, you can kind of put it anywhere, which it makes it very flexible to install. My soldering ability is that of a small child wearing mittens. All Revos. Ooh, you got some Revos. Nice. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. Digital Tom for sure. Yeah. Need a new channel called Slot Car Withdrawal. That's funny. Hey, there's my brother. Better late than never. Dusty's at North Wilkesboro. He's enjoying the NASCAR this weekend. He's down there where in George's neighborhood. So, yeah. Holy cow, it's 9:30. Guys, this was fun. We didn't really accomplish a whole lot. We talked a lot about cars that we want to buy. Seems like we talk about that every week. And that's because there's so many great cars getting launched and released, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Next week, just some announcements. One, I don't know if you guys saw the fact that Kevin released a 2-line slot car sign. I am super, super stoked about that. Oh, speaking of signs. Here's a couple of the signs that I did. And guys, this is good stuff. This is cool. I know, Dave, you've put some together on your channel. But Kevin, I bought some stuff off of Kevin and put it all together. And then he reached out and said, hey, I want to do a 2 lines billboard. And I'm like, I'm all in. So if you use the code 2, the number 2, lines 20. So 2 lines 20. The 2 and the 20 are numbers, right? 2 lines 20. If you spend $40 or more, you get 20% off your order, plus Kevin's throwing in the 2 lines slot car billboard for your track. And that will be good. He made it good through May, and then he called me back yesterday and said, hey, I've got had a great response, and we're just going to make it a lifetime thing. So as long as the billboard's out there available, if you use that code, 1 per person, you can only use the code one time. But if you use it, you get 20% off, and he throws in a 2 lines billboard for your track. So I'm super excited about that. So don't forget that. Shout out to Kevin. But next week, Kevin is going to be on again on the live stream, and he's sending me some of the new elevated track so that I can put on here and we can discuss it next Tuesday night. So he's sending that out to me. I sent him my layout so we can see what we might be able to fit on my layout. And I'm super excited about that. So I'll order that, put that together for next week's live stream, and then we can I'll get the camera out down on the layout, and we'll kind of get dirty and talk to him about developing that. So it started out as an overpass that somebody had requested, and it's turned into a whole elevated track system. And so Kevin's super excited about that, and just it's been kind of cool to work with him over the last couple of weeks on some of that stuff. It's just been a fun collaboration. He's a great guy and is just enjoying this community, this slot car community that's really super supportive of his. And so he wants to be able to do some things. And I'm excited about helping him out however I can. But we're going to talk about the elevated track system. It's going to be awesome. He really thinks that people will just buy it for like a corner. Even if it's not elevated, it looks really great, and it's dioramic like, right? So it's like a great corner to take pictures of your car and your layout, or do some scenery around that piece. But then the ability to elevate your track and change your layout that way, very simple and easy, and looks fantastic. So we'll do that next week. That'll be next week's live stream, 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Kevin Sharp from Racetrack Scenics will be here, and we'll be discussing the billboards, and he's giving me some billboards to give away on the channel. So we will do that next week as well. And guys, I'm at about 1,700 subscribers, which blows me away. That's awesome. Thank you for the support. But I'm planning a giveaway at 2,000. I'll probably announce it in the next couple of weeks, because there's no way I'll get to 2,000 in the next couple of weeks. My channel's not growing that fast, but I want to do a nice giveaway, just to say thanks to you guys, and some of it will be the Two Lines billboards, but then I've got some other things up my sleeve. So stay tuned. We'll talk about it over the next couple weeks, and I figure sometime in August or September, if my trend stays, September, October, I'll probably hit 2,000, and we'll do a big giveaway. So that sounds like coffee and billboards. Probably a little more than coffee and billboards, but I'm sure coffee and Racetrack Scenics will be a part of that. I'll start collecting some stuff to give away, but we'll do it up big. And I'm just super proud of this community, and all of you guys. You guys are my friends. And I know it sounds weird to say that because we talk via the digital world, but I've really developed some great friendships, a lot of people who support my channel in amazing ways, and I'm just super thankful, and I just want to share in that. So guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I know it was kind of a weird live stream. We accomplished a lot by accomplishing nothing, but it's been great. Johnny Pro, he comes in at the bell right at the end. I'm wrapping up. It's 9:30. We're an hour and a half in, and I feel really bad that that's 2 nights in a row you guys are bumping up against 2-hour live streams. So yeah, it's been good. Hey, Burn Dog, welcome. Johnny Pro, welcome. Good MR slot car. What did I miss? See, I was too busy chatting. More coffee. Oh yeah, we need to give away some coffee. So let me see if I can do a picker to give away some coffee, and then you can reach out to me. Let's see, coffee, copy, paste all these names in. Coffee. See, it doesn't like to do it in the live chat. It would be easier if it was comments on the video. All right. That's what I'll do. I'll copy and paste this in, and I'll post. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun. Beat Nick, yes. Coffee. Cheers. Cheers, Joe. Thanks. Burn Dog, we appreciate it. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Danny. I'll throw all these names of everybody in the chat tonight. Hey, Tim. Good to have you. Wildman. Steve Sweeney. Hey, Jamie. Sorry I didn't see you earlier. Good to have you. And then I'll post and reach out to the person who won coffee. Guys, thanks. Have a good evening. Take care.